Hi everyone, Minus again for wowplus.org, and this will be the fourth volume of our WeakAuras guys in our Let's Learn series. Right now this is where we've left off. We have two of our icons here. We have got an energy bar and we have our health bar. Today in this video I want to actually show you how to create combo points visually. Now, I get that not every class has a use for this, but there are a fair amount out there that do holy power, shards from warlocks, combo points on rogues and feral. So there are a significant amount of classes that would use this, and it'll give you some tips and tricks on how to create images and have them come up. So I think that even if your class does not use combo points, this is a really good tutorial to show you how to do some other tips and tricks. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Again, things I've already covered, I'm going to try not to get too much into to keep this video shorter for everybody. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and open up our WeakAuras. And we're going to create some combo points. So the way I like to do combo points or holy power, any of that type of stuff, is with textures. And I will tell you that creating one and then copying is a huge time save. So we're going to go ahead and start with creating one. So remember that if everything disappears, you can just hit this little eyeball and it'll bring everything back up. So we're going to call this combo 1. So that'll be if we have one combo point. So the first thing we want to do is it's going to automatically default to this image. In the display tab, we're going to choose. And there's a lot of different options here. Anything from blizzard alerts that you see flash on your screen, to icons, to beams. Essentially, you want to find something that's pretty calm and generic so that it's not overly intrusive. There's some good icons there. The runes aren't bad. These are nice for combo generator items. But today what we're going to do is I think I'm going to go with the stars, which I typically use for combo points or anything like that. But unfortunately in this, you see how these have the black background? We're not going to be able to use them. So let's go back down to some of the other options we have here. You see these black backgrounds? It's sort of an issue with the version that we're in. And those black backgrounds are going to make it a little trickier. So let's actually go ahead with some of these icons here will work great. So let's go ahead and use, try to look through these a little bit. This would actually be kind of cool. That would be great, right? Jesus face. All right, let's go ahead and use this circle. I think is a good one to use. We can go ahead and use that as a generic one. There are some other good ones on here you can pick from. This one's a solid circle. Let's actually go with a solid circle. Getting really intricate, you could make all the solid circles, or all these circles turn solid when you hit max combo points, but we'll get to that another time. So let's go ahead and we'll use this icon, hit OK. Now remember, when we create this, we're going to be putting these into place, with 4 other combo points. So you really want to try to perfect this one along with the color that you want it to be, which is pretty important. So for this color here, we can go ahead and pick, let's see, combo points. Let's do like an orange. You'll see that there. So the same way that you would do your size, width and height, like you did with our icons here, we can do a 40 by 40. So the only problem with a 40 by 40, it is pretty small, as you can see. So maybe a little bit bigger, but I'll tell you what, we'll go right there for now with a, actually, yeah, let's go a little bit bigger. We'll go 60 by 60. Don't forget to hit enter. That's a lot better. So we'll go 60 by 60 and we're going to try to center it above this icon so that we can center it properly and move it 40 yards apart as we copy it. Pretty simple. So we've picked a color, we've picked an icon, which it took us a little bit to do. We've changed the height and width. Now we need to set the load. So load, we want it to load player class Rogue. Talent specialization. If you're going to play multiple rogues, this might be something you want to actually set as just player class, but since for right now I'm just doing assassination, go ahead and just pick assassination. Now the trigger. This is where it gets really important. We want to go to status. We want to go to unit, player, health. We want this to be power, and the power type, we want this to be combo points. Okay, so here's what's important. When we have one or more power, we want this first dot to show. So if the power is greater than or equal to 1, this will show up. Make sure you hit the OK. So really important, right? So essentially, that's going to enable it to show up and stay if it has 1, because it'll grow greater. If we run out, it'll go away. It's pretty simple to actually make this. So now what we want to do is, remember, before you copy it, get it as close to where you want it to be as possible. So let's go ahead and put it into the group. It's going to move it slightly. You'll see that happen. Try to center it roughly right above that icon there. And we're going to copy it a few times. So duplicate it to combo 2, press enter. Okay. And then what we want to do is move it. So we set it as 60 by 60. So we're moving to the right. So let's add 60 here. This would be 198. And that's probably a bit too far. So if we show both of them, it's really too far. So we probably want to add another, we moved it 60 there. We probably want to go 30 back. So 228. Now the reason for that, why that is where I like that, is because this icon, the way that this picture is designed, it actually includes this negative space, which is a little frustrating. You almost wish that it was really tight in on the circles so they could be handled better. So if we go back to combo 1, you can see it was a 30 offset difference. So as we create new ones, we'll also want to put those in 30s. So now what we have to do is edit this. We've copied it. It's going to have the same properties. We moved it over. So now we want to go into trigger, and we need to change this power, because the second one should only show when there are greater than 2. It's, as you can see, this is just all we have to do. We're going to duplicate it again. Combo 3, press enter. We're going to go ahead and change this to 3. Greater than or equal to 3. And then we're going to go into our display. We're going to move it over by 30, as we said. So that'll be now 198. And just again to show them all, you can see that they're properly lined up. One of the problems we may face when we're done with this, because we've scrunched them together a little bit more than we thought we would, is that it may not look even compared to everything else we're going to do here. We'll worry about that later, so don't worry about that. Let's just get the combo points working. So obviously we can have a total of 5 combo points. So let's duplicate again, enter. We want to move it over 30, so 68. It's moved over properly now. We're going to go back into its trigger. Remember, this is combo points 4, so only going to show when we have 4. Okay. And then we're going to go to make one more. So duplicate. Combo 5, press enter. What's nice is that it'll continue to name them properly. We'll change this to 5. Okay. We'll go into display and we'll move that over by 30. And we'll show them all again. And there you go. So what you can do on that 5th one is, if you wanted to play a sound when the 5th one hits, so that you, if you're not paying attention, you know when you cap, that's a pretty smart thing to do. So we can go over to here and go to actions and on show, because this is only going to show up if it's 5 or greater. So on show, we are going to play sound. I'm just going to do sonar again. It shows up good in the video. And that's it. So on show, we're going to have that light, that sound go off to let you know you've hit max combo points. So remember what we've done is we've adjusted the display in size. We put one where we want it to be. Remove the rest. And for the trigger, we've ensured that it's greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so when I close this, it's going to go away because we do not have any combo points right now. So watch as we play here. I'm going to go ahead and get into stealth. 1 combo point there. 5, and you heard the sonar, right? Heard it again. So that's a way now to see your combo points. And obviously we could do some other things. So let's look at what else we can do with them. If we go into WeakAuras and we go into conditions, we can add a condition. If power is greater or equal to 5, hit OK. Then we want to go and we want to change the color. So we have orange. Basically, when it's time to go, let's make it red. Okay. So let's go ahead and test that and make sure that when our 5th power comes on, this turns red. Because once we can get one of these correct, I'm going to show you a pretty cool trick. So if power is greater than or equal to 5, color red. So let's see what happens. Okay, so see, because the power is greater than or equal to 5, we're red. So that's perfect. So what that'll do for you is you can make it so that the rest of them all turn red without much work at all. So check this out. If we go to combo 5 and we already have the condition laid out, and that condition will be the same for the rest, we can right click on this and we can say copy settings of conditions. So now that I've copied the conditions from 5, watch, when I right click here, I can paste condition settings. So I can do that for all of them. So now, rather than having to redo that on all of them, I've just made it so that all of them should work once we hit 5 combo points. And as you can see, they're all red right now. So a real easy way to watch your combo points go up. Some sound and visual representation whenever it gets to full. So it gives you the ability not only by sound to know that you're capping your combo points in case you're looking away or you're not paying attention, but it also changes color for you to give you a sort of a visual cue as well. It's a pretty neat thing to be able to do. Now, just in this video as well, I want to show you one more thing. Let's do something neat with our weapon poisons. Okay, so I'm going to create a left hand and a right hand dagger that will show us when our weapons are poisoned. And this is going to be a buff style creation. So even though you may not have poisons on your class, this is any buff that you want to create for. So let's go ahead and create a buff that shows that we have our daggers poisoned. Obviously, I have not had mine poisoned, and it's probably part of the reason it's taken me so long to kill these deer. So let's go back into WeakAuras. What we're going to do, and I've already looked at some textures, I'm going to do a texture show here. We're going to go back into display just like we did before. I'm going to call this, we're going to have 3 poisons, right? So I'm going to call this deadly poison. And we're going to actually copy one exactly for wound poison, because the reason I'm doing that is deadly poison is a lethal poison. You can only have 1 lethal poison on, as is wound poison. Whereas crippling poison is non-lethal, so this can always be on. So we're going to make 1 for each of these that only 1 will show up, and then we're going to make 1 for crippling poison as well. Okay, so for deadly poison, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a texture, and I've already decided I'm going to pick a, let's see if I can find it here, the dagger logo here. Pretty sure it's in here. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and pick this dagger. And we're going to go ahead and make sure everything's shown. I'm going to take this dagger, I'm going to put it on this side of the setup. Now I can turn this dagger so the blade faces outward by hitting mirror and putting that over there. So it's going to kind of be a neat little frame to our WeakAuras. You don't always have to do stuff like this, but I think it's pretty cool. It adds a little bit of customization, and that'll show green for the dagger being poisoned. So what we're going to do is we have to set the trigger. Let's do load first. Stick to it. So player class, rogue, talent specialization, assassination. We're not going to do that on any other rogue. And the trigger is actually going to be an aura. So we've changed it off of aura a lot of times. The aura name is deadly poison. When you hit enter, you can see it found something. That's a positive. And we're going to have it on unit, is on player, and it is a buff. So as long as it's on, that will come up. So that should be all we have to do. We have it placed. If we want to make it a little bit smaller, that's fine. And we can do that just to frame it up a little bit better. Okay, and we're going to move it into the group. Slightly move it back because it will move a little bit every time you add it into a group. So it's going to show me that my left dagger or my lethal dagger is good as long as I put deadly poison on. Now what else I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and now that we've done this, I'm going to copy this. So we're going to duplicate it, and we're actually going to call it wound poison. Now keep in mind, because we can't have wound poison and deadly poison on at the same time, it's pretty much the same exact WeakAura. The only thing we have to do now is change the trigger of the aura name. Don't forget, you're going to have to use your arrow keys, not the mouse. And we're going to change this to wound poison. You can see that it finds it. So what this is going to do is, as long as we have the debuff on, it will actually show. So while we're working on this, I'm actually going to go ahead and let's duplicate it one more time. But this time, this is going to be for our crippling poison. And crippling poison being a different spell, when you grab this, see where it shows your X and Y coordinates there? I'm going to try to keep it at 153.33 when I move it over here. It's a little hard sometimes. We may have to type it. It'll take a lot of precision with your mouse to be able to get there. As you can see, I'm not having the luck. So I'm going to put it there. I'm going to go into my display real quick. I'm going to change that just so I remember it. 153, and this is 33. That'll just make it perfectly lined up for those of you like me who want it to be very, very symmetrical. And we're going to inverse it like we did before. We're going to change the mirror so the dagger's pointing out. And then we're going to go into our trigger, change the name again using your arrows. And we're going to change it to crippling poison. You see it found the match, so that's good. Okay, so those are all moved in. They're all here. That's going to actually fix our meter. Yes, these are not centered. We will work on that. Don't worry about that. We'll clean up this in another add-on feature. So as you can see right now, I do not have my weapons poisoned. So what I can do is go ahead and click on deadly poison. It is now applied. I can click on crippling poison. It is now applied. And just in case I'd want to go ahead and put wound poison on instead, I can put that on, and you'll see that this will not go away because it will act as the same trigger. And even though there's two WeakAuras, only one is actually responding. So you can see we're kind of framing up our WeakAuras quite a bit here, and it's starting to look pretty cool. We have a few more progress bars to make as we just made the buff ones. We'll do that in another video. We're going to actually add all our cooldowns. We're going to add some Vendetta stuff and some bars in a pretty quick video where I'm not going to be doing a lot of explanation. That'll be the next thing we do, and then we'll kind of recap it towards the end. So thanks everybody. A little bit more to come. We're doing a great job here making a custom set, and I look forward to the next video.